Hi everybody, it's Audrey. Thank you so much for joining me today for my process video. Today I'm doing a video for Just Nick design team, and I am going to be using a cut file from the store to go along with a page maps sketch. And this month Page Maps and Just Nick are teaming up, so you can go to the Page Maps blog and see what the Just Nick team did with Page Maps sketches and cut files from the store. So in the sketch that I am using, there is about a 4x6 photo with a kind of a doily image in the corner. And so I went through the Just Nick store and I found this cut file called Nana's Doily Background. And I loved the shape of these kind of doilies that are mixed together. However, I only wanted one doily. So what I did is I first drew a square like I normally do that is the size of my photo, which was about, I think, 3.5 by 4 3/4 approximately. And I opened and traced the cut file. And I am going to use the eraser tool, which you can see over there on the left. I've highlighted the eraser. And I am just going to erase all the other little bits of the other doily shapes that I don't want. Now, this is not going to cut out, it's not going to cut as a very clean cut. Obviously, some of the edges are going to be still attached to the paper because the lines are not closed. But I did want to get it just down to this one kind of circle shape. And also, I knew this doily was going to be kind of tucked behind the corner of my photo, so I wasn't too worried about the straight edge on the top because I knew a lot of it was going to be overlapping. So I erased the whole thing, and sometimes it takes my program a little while to erase a lot of those lines, especially if you have a big chunk of the page that you have erased. So I also noticed all those little shapes are not grouped together, so I made sure I grouped them. And now I have this one circle, and I'm going to, you can see there, you can even tell that it's, it's a straight edge on one section of the circle. So I'm just going to kind of position this doily shape in relation to my photo and see exactly how big I want to make this doily. And I just wanted to also make sure that I was going to be able to cover it up with my photo so that you wouldn't see the straight edge. So I cut this out of kind of a purplish paper. Isn't that so cool? I love how it came off the mat like that. And it's such a beautiful, intricate, lacy doily shape, and it's so pretty. A lot of times, if you watch my videos, you know I use white to cut out a lot of cut files, but I really wanted to bring in a lot of color on this page. And I am using the Oh My Heart collection by Paige Evans for Pink Paisley. So I did cut that shape out of purple, and I really like what the purple brought. And my daughter in this photo has a lot of purple in her dress, so I think it really picked up on that color well. However, I'm going to add a little bit of white here. I'm fussy cutting out these scallop strips, and you'll notice again in the sketch too there is there are a couple areas on these strips where there was kind of like a scallop design, and so I wanted to bring in the scalloped strip from the sketch there. So this is going to be a pretty straightforward design. I'm sticking pretty close to the sketch. The sketch happens to have a photo that's oriented horizontally, but my photo is a vertical photo, which is sometimes you can rotate the whole sketch, or sometimes you can just rotate the photo and it still works. And in this case, I'm just rotating the photo and the design still pretty much worked. And I'm going through all of my die cuts here for this collection and picking out some things I thought I would use. I also pulled out this Cute Girl collection from Crate Paper because there were some elements and phrases that I thought would go well in there, go well with the with my page in there as well. So I'm just going to play around a little bit. Again, I'm having a little issue with these die cuts because I don't really like that a lot of them have the white border. I know it's such a nitpicky thing, but I don't like how all the flowers have the white border around them because I don't know. It makes it stand off the page too much, and I kind of wanted them to blend together a little bit better. So I do fussy cut a lot of the flowers from pattern paper instead of using some of the die cuts. I was just going through some papers to look for something to back my photo with and to bring in some other colors. Because I have the white scallop strip there and, you know, I have that bright pink background, I wanted to bring in a darker color that provided some contrast against the white strip and kind of framed my photo a little bit. So that's why I chose this kind of darkish navy color. And that wasn't in this collection either. I pulled that from a Dear Lizzie, we just saw it there. I can't remember the name of it now. What is it called? Happy Day? Lucky Day? Maybe it's not even that. I don't know. Lovely Day. That's what it is. It's Lovely Day. So that came from a Dear Lizzie 6x6 paper pad. And you'll see I cut out another scallop strip there, and I'm going to put that down. And then I'm bringing another contrasting color in as well. And if you look at the sketch, as I mentioned, you'll see that the way the sketch is kind of laid out is there are, well, when I saw, I interpreted it as kind of two borders. And at the intersection of those two borders that are perpendicular to each other was the photo kind of nestled there. So this part, again, I'm just kind of rearranging and playing with some shapes. I'm really liking these colors and how bright they are. So this is a picture of my daughter on her 8th birthday, and which was just a couple weeks ago, and she really wanted to wear this dress and wanted to wear her hair like that, and she just looked so stinking cute, and she was just so happy and on this day, and I just took her picture on her way to school, and she was just so adorable. Anyway, I posted it on like Instagram, I think, and somebody put, her dress matches that paper collection by Paige Evans. Did you plan that? Now, I did not plan that. Sometimes, I admit, I do plan my children's outfits to match certain papers or products that I have, but in this case, I didn't. But it does really match some of the floral prints in this collection very well. So, anyway, I'm glad I picked this collection because the colors are just perfect. So I am taking a couple puffy stickers here. These are from the Crepe Paper Cute Girl line, and I fussy cut out a few other small flowers. And I kind of liked how some of the elements, I stuck them behind the doily there at the top, and I liked how they peeked out a little bit and put the doily in front. So I do move a few of these things around, but if you regularly watch my process videos, you know that I tend to lay everything out first and get an idea of where I want to put all of my things, and then I take everything back off and go through and glue it down where I had it. I have tried to work other ways, and I apparently I have commitment issues because I can't commit to a design until I'm sure that the whole thing is perfect. So anyway, I pulled out another piece of paper here, kind of a darker pink, to frame my photo just a little bit around the edge, and I roughed it up with my edge distressor. I love using my edge distressor to kind of add some texture to the page, and it kind of softens up the edges too. I mean, I know it makes the edges rough, but it kind of softens up the design to make it look not so sharp, I guess, and kind of have a little bit softer, rough edges. So I glued some things down to each other. You'll notice I didn't glue them to the background, but I kind of glued my strips together how I wanted them and glued them to the doily. And I kind of create these clusters of things glued together. And I wanted to add a little bit of whitewash to this background, so I'm just using some gesso and a dry brush. And it just lightens it just a tiny bit. When it dries, it's not that white. But it does add a little bit of softness. And I'm just going to go through with some mists and splatter some mists around, some teal Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and some gold. This gold Color Shine is very watery, and it drips terrible. And so I have to be really careful how you splatter it. And then I'm just going to soak up a little bit with paper towel because it just was not soaking into the page very well. It's so funny because different papers absorb this mist differently, and I don't know if it's the finish of the paper or the texture or the thickness, but sometimes this mist dries pretty fast and sometimes it does not, and this is one of those cases where it did not. So I'm going to go through and rough up these strips too while that's drying a little bit. And I usually do this. I usually would distress those edges before I glue them all together, but I had these positioned how I wanted, so I wanted to make sure that they stayed that way. So it's, and again, most of it will be covered up by the photo and other embellishments, so you won't see too much of it. So, like I have been saying, this is from a Page Maps sketch, and I just love using Page Maps sketches. And I can't believe that Page Maps has been around for such a long time. Page Maps was one of the first sketch sites that I ever used when I started scrapbooking, which was probably about 2006, 2007. Maybe I started a little bit after. That's when I started scrapbooking, 2006-ish. So maybe it was a year or two afterwards that I really got into the online world of scrapbooking. But I just love going there each month. And, you know, even though they've been around, she's been around for so long doing these sketches, they're still so fresh. And you can go see, you know, design and get inspired. And so, good place to go for sketches. And I love to print out all the old PDFs and kind of keep them with me just for inspiration every now and then. So you saw that I glued down those white strips and I stitched over them with some teal thread. So I stitched over the scallop strips, and I am going to just leave the kind of threads hanging there in the ends. And then I decided I wanted to bring in a little bit more white to kind of balance out the white in the strips. So I'm using the Illusions mist there in white, which is an excellent white mist. Somebody recommended this to me months ago when I was having issues with my white mist that I was using at the time, which I think was a Mr. Huey's, and somebody recommended this, and I'm so happy they did, because it is just wonderful. It really actually turns out very white. I created a little cluster there in the top corner of my photo with a label sticker, and then a little kind of banner sticker with a heart, and another little sticker that said Cute Girl, which all these colors just fit perfectly between these different collections. I was planning on using that label sticker, or the circle label rather, in the corner there for my date, but I overlapped that little banner piece, and then it didn't really have any room to put the date, so I'm going to figure something else out with the date. I wanted to use this sticker so bad. It says adorable, and I wanted it to go there to the left of the photo, not underneath it, but it was just too big. So luckily, I was kind of looking through all the things, and there is another sticker that says adorable. So that pink one was on the puffy sticker sheet, but I noticed on this 6x12 sticker sheet, there was a gold one that said adorable, and it's kind of a rose gold. So as I'm picking out the little pieces in the middle of the letters here, I ripped it. I ripped it right in half, and I was so mad. And you can't tell on the final page because I just stuck it together, but I hate when I do that. So yeah, I ripped it because I was going too fast and trying to rush, but again, you can't even really notice it once I put it on there. So I love the little bit of gold there. And to kind of create my visual triangle, I added the so the title that says adorable, and then the foiled flower to the right there. And then on this little sticker sheet, these are kind of like a clear sticker, but they have the foil on them. But I wanted it to be a little bit heavier and not clear, so I just put it on a little piece of white scrap paper here and backed it with white paper to make it a little bit more sturdy and to stand out a little bit more. And then I just add a couple more stickers here and there. And this is pretty much my design. Again, it follows the sketch very closely. I'm popping some things up. I do go through here and add a couple other little tiny bits. These are really, really tiny flowers. And sometimes when I'm cutting these things out, I'm like, is this one little teeny tiny flower really worth it? And it is, in the end, just to have these little tiny accents, because I love having these little tiny sketches. I like having things on the page that are different scales. So, you know, I have my big flowers over there on the right, and then I have kind of medium flowers tucked into some of my clusters there, and then these little teeny tiny flowers for embellishing as well. So I recently just splurged on a whole bunch of sequins from Spiegelmom Scraps, which you can see there on the right. A couple different piles, and I think this one is called Strawberry Bubblegum or something. And it has these super cute, teeny tiny sequin flowers, and they're kind of like 3D. They're not flat. They kind of, like the petals of the flowers kind of curl up a little bit. So I am adding those here and there are some kind of very, very light, almost like a mint green sequin as well. And I'm just going through with my fine line glue and some mixed media liquid glue and just attaching those little sequins. And it adds just a little bit of sparkle and perfect for a girly page. I love having excuses to do girly pages. I don't do a ton of girly pages because I like to do boy pages too. But when I do a girly page, I want to do a real girly page. So any type of flower, shiny sequin thing I can add, I'm going to do it. As a last little touch here, you'll notice in the sketch there is kind of a sketchy line border. And so I'm just using a white Signo ball pen here. And I just doodled a little white border, and it's not very straight. It's kind of crooked, and I love that about it because that's just how it is in the sketch, and it just frames it just right. A few lines for journaling, and that's about it. I also did my journaling in white pen and added the date stamp down there at the bottom. And I love how this came out. Look at that file. I just love that file, that doily. It's shaped so pretty, so intricate. Ooh, look at those little sequins. Those are the ones I was talking about, and some stitching. So thanks so much for stopping by. Please go check out all the sketches this month in the Page Maps blog and all of the new cut files in the Just Knix store this week. Thanks, and see you soon.